Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast with your hosts Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Divert your phone and grab a brew as Waz and Nick unpack tips, tales, secrets and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside your trade, helping educate and inspire you to break the cycle of gut-busting and money stress and create a true trade business.
G'day Tradies in Business. Joining us today is Kim from Handy Girl Australia.
Hi,
G'day Kim.
Hi, how are you guys going?
Fantastic.
Fantastic
How are you?
now that we've sorted the technology.
We had poor old Kim on a hop. It just didn't work for us today, did it, Kim? We were just saying if you can't hit it with a hammer, we probably shouldn't be playing with it at all.
Something like that, but, isn't it funny how we rely on technology even to do the work that we do with hammers and nails and all that kind of stuff.
It's so true, isn't it? It's very true. So we're coming to you today with a real tradie episode with our good friend Kim from Handy Girl Australia. I've spoken with Kim quite a few times in my builder's wife career, and Kim is one of the most interesting and inspirational women I think I have met in construction. Kim, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself so I don't balls it up and do a terrible job?
Well, it's really funny because I think I consider that I'm pretty handy.
You're very handy.
And and yesterday, for example, a team of a couple of staff joined me down in Melbourne for some training in waterproofing. Mm-hmm. So we're lending our hands to lots of little jobs that have to be done around people's homes. Generally, domestic work is what we concentrate on. But we fall in between those gaps. Not necessarily tradie. I can get the trades in, no worries. But obviously there's this whole market under property maintenance where we've got to go in and, dare I say it, just tidy up after the tradies have been, just fix up, just tweak a little, or we're doing the jobs that really where a tradie's too expensive to go in.
Yes. Yep. Okay. And how did you come to be doing what you do, Kim?
Well, I think I've been handy all my life, and Dad's a plumber, mm-hmm. And it was a choice. Do I do a plumbing apprenticeship or do I go to uni? And obviously, I got into uni, and so he goes, "Oh well, you can get a career out of that. You don't really want to be crawling under houses, so." So off I went and went to uni, and I had to pay that debt back. So you just start working.
You do.
But I certainly have a love for working, on the tools. I'm not that passionate about getting dirty. I don't think anybody likes getting dirty.
That's so true.
I really enjoy, working with my hands and problem solving.
Yes.
Yeah. What did you study at uni, Kim?
Oh God, this will bore you to tears. I was what you'd call the untraditional PE teacher. So I did PE and outdoor ed and environmental science. So it wasn't really wasn't really a sexy choice back there that you had this PE teacher who was into rocks and rivers and
That's really
stuff
cool,
like that.
Kim.
And so I spent a lot of time working in the outdoors. So I was an outdoor instructor, and that's probably what took me around the world. But then I suddenly realised, oh my God, when I get old, I don't want to be the 55-year-old PE teacher being slammed by the volleyball on the court. And let's play dodgeball with the teacher.
Yeah.
But I went back and I did another degree in international development, which was really stuff that I was more interested in. How I was working in Africa, and we were really trying to solve problems that unfortunately still exist now. Mm. But we were building hearts and clinics and medical centres, and so I really got back to that joy. That pure joy of being able to build and fix and really bring a tribe with me. And because back then we really needed to have medical clinics or fix up the hospitals that had been run down. And, so it sort of threw me back, full circle, back into, working with my hands.
So
it's a bizarre story, isn't it? It sounds a bit,
I don't know. We've heard all sorts of stories here on the podcast, Kim. So how did you transition from, I guess, doing what you'd studied or working in that field to what you're doing now, being a handy girl?
I ended up coming back to Australia because of September 11. Because of the bombing. I was managing some projects in northern Iraq, and just figured that that wasn't a really smart place to be.
No, probably not.
And so I came back to Melbourne, and I had tenants in my house because I was going to be away working for a couple of years. And I ended up buying, the only thing that I could afford was this run-down, bikey hellhole of a place not far out of Ballarat. And I got it at a fairly good bargain because who really wanted to live there? And
so it was a drug
anyway, yeah, exactly. But it was out of town.
Yeah.
And I decided to renovate. I gutted it and started renovating, and then I started getting tradies. I needed tradies to come and do some things. Mm-hmm. But I had a set of skills. I'd been out building log cabins. I learned how to build Canadian log cabins. So I'd sort of got back to that passion for building and making and destroying, really. So I guess, you got to love demolition.
Yes.
It's great. So I gutted this house, I renovated, then I'd pull in the tradie to say, hey, I really need you to come and sign this off for me. And I couldn't get it. I couldn't get tradies to drive half an hour out the bush. And I just couldn't. And then when they did come, I suddenly realised, oh, my God, I'm out in this bush all by myself. Now they know all my private business.
That's so
they
true.
know who I am. I'm feeling a bit vulnerable here, even though, I've been living in war-torn country. Here I am, But it was just one of those things where it wasn't quite right. And so I decided back in 2006, well, let's give this handy girl a go. I'm in between lecturing at the uni and teaching and doing all sorts of things in my career. And let's just get handy. I got a little van. I got a whole set of tools. Let's go help some oldies or some clients, and off I went.
That's an amazing transformation. I didn't know that was part of your backstory, Kim. I'm quite blown away.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean much now. People ring us up and go, "Can I have a handy girl?" And can you prune roses? And you just go, "Yeah, sure, we can prune." I just had to put in a new shower. Unfortunately, a builder just took advantage of a client, but I've had to pull all of her shower apart and get it all done. But, I've got those subcontractors like you would, Nicole, where you just go, hey, can my plumber go over and do this, or the tiler, or the waterproof, whatever,
Yes. Yeah. So it's a really fascinating part of the industry that you're serving, Kim. I'm really intrigued to understand more about your market, I suppose. Tell us about who your customers are and how they find you.
Look, we've got private customers, we've got commercial customers, and we've got customers who have come through the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Mm-hmm. And I think that probably look, honestly, I had no idea how to find a customer when I started. No idea. I just knew that I think I could help someone, and I think I can build the confidence of clients.
Yes.
That's what it's about. My vision statement is still the same. We need to build confidence. And so we only take on jobs that we can confidently do, or that we can confidently manage, or we can confidently finish. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. And so we've found, because we're in Ballarat, we're only just over an hour out of town. It's kind of like being in Toowoomba.
Yes.
It's not that far. It's up the hill, down the road.
Not far.
Yeah. But I did a lot of work. If I can give some advice to any of the tradies, you have to work on your brand, and your brand has to stand up.
Yes.
Outside of your name. It's not. They don't ring to ask for me. They ring the office now for a handy girl, whoever it is. So, back in the day, people knew it was me specifically, and they'd say, "Oh, Kim, can you come out?" Now they don't care which handy girl's coming out, as long as she's on time, does the job really well, the workmanship's great, and they're confident that the job that they've asked to be done gets done.
I think that's a really important lesson for all of our listeners. People don't really care so much anything but what serves them. They want to know confidently that the job will be completed on time, on budget, and it'll be all tidied up behind them. It's
all of those things. It's just your classic service model, regardless of what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely right. They don't care that you were late. Well, they care that you were late, but they don't care why you were late. They don't want to hear the story. They don't care that, your tiler didn't turn up. Well, that's really not their problem. They just want the right person there at the right time. So when you're servicing those points, your business starts to flourish. It's a pretty simple equation, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, as I said, it's not about when your business is growing, you really put a lot of effort in as the individual whose business it is. But really, you're right. The client couldn't care less about your backstory.
No.
They couldn't care less about anything else. What they care about is value, and it's time and money. That's the only two things that we've got. Because if we've got the time to do the job, and we've got the skills to do the job, then what you're really valuing is somebody else's time to come and solve it for you.
Yeah, very much so.
And then what is your pricing? How does it work? Do they get notified? You then start to tweak how you deliver that service.
So, Kim, have you come up against many? Have you come up against many roadblocks or speed bumps in, getting the business up and running and developing that following?
Yeah. Oh, look, I think everyone does, and I just started by myself at home. I basically decided to leave my very well-paying career and just chase down Handy Girl and go, okay, I had this crazy idea in 2006. It kind of worked. But my biggest stop, why it didn't move in 2006 and 2007 and all that kind of stuff, is because I didn't know how to find Handy Girls. I could hire a Michael, a Steve, a Fred. I could employ every bloke under the sun, but when they say I'm a handy girl and when they turn up to a person's job, it's not quite matching, Yeah. So I had to be able to find awesome women who could do the job. And back then, we just couldn't. And so yay for technology. When I finally sort of rebooted in I don't know what it was now, 2014 or something, we had Facebook, we had all sorts of things, and I could start putting out there my brand and what we were doing. And slowly but surely, I've been able to get, handy girl staff. So we've got about 20 staff at the moment just in Ballarat.
Oh, wow.
Just outside of Melbourne.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but you've got to be able to build the confidence of these mums who, like one of my builders, and mum, she hung up our tool and picked up the apron basically, and I had to sort of sweet talk her into saying, well, all your kids are at school now. Let's get back on the tools.
Wow, that's the vision that you have had, Kim, is it's quite mind blowing. You've taken a really simple concept and you've turned it into I can't even have the words for it. Not only are you revolutionising an industry that's typically male-dominated, you're empowering and educating and encouraging fellow women to get up and give something a go, and you're providing a service, a much-needed service, to the industry and to consumers alike. It's a fascinating little I suppose, vision that's turned into a project for you.
Well, when I look at my competitors, I've got gyms. I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind giving them advertising space because they're good at doing what they're doing.
That's right. Yeah.
Let Jim mow lawn. Let Jim do whatever he does because he's doing a lot of things. He's everywhere.
Yep.
And then I'm up against, hire a hubby.
Yep.
But, some women, there are a lot of women who've been, some of our clients, the last thing they need is a bloke in their lives because they've been hurt.
Yep.
They've been, they have experienced violence. So the last thing they're going to be doing is ringing up anybody's, hubby. But that's their branding. Good on them. I'm up against 10,000 handymen. Really?
Yes.
There are a dime a dozen in every town. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
The uncles, the dads, and I don't have a problem. They're going to keep on getting their work.
Yes.
But the market certainly has dictated that they want to have a different option.
Yep.
And for instance, our feedback coming back is that they're really impressed that we schedule, we're on time, we do the job. If we don't, we tell them, we're honest. And these are attributes that every tradie's got.
Yes.
But I don't know what we're doing differently, but it's, as a service industry, I think we're just better at providing the service.
Well, it's, without wanting to sound perhaps sexist, I think women are better at those service type roles and businesses than men because there's just that emotional understanding and emotional intelligence, I guess, that women have, and just the communication skills as well to relate to other people better and understand their needs and fears and all that sort of stuff. Whereas blokes we're pretty black and white, and we're a bit dumb when it comes to tuning into our customers and, what their fears are and that sort of stuff. We tend to be a little bit ignorant to some of those things. So it's, it probably makes sense in a lot of ways.
Well, I think that one of the challenges is that I just used to use my diary, pull out the diary and somebody would say, can you come over? And you flip the pages and you go, yeah. And then I went to Google Calendar, and then all of a sudden I'm like, we're getting demand for services. And so now I've had to use an app. And there are lots of apps out there that a sole trader, single tradie could use to look more professional. And, you've got your accounting systems now, so you can go into a job, do the job, push the button and, almost be paid on the spot if you were organised. Or you say, hey, I understand that it may not be pay week for you, so how about if I give you 14 days to pay?
Great.
And I'll send you an invoice. If budget, it's not about picking up cash today. It's about saying, well, I want you as a client, valuing you as a client, not just today because you've rung us, but I want you to ring me back.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a one-off job. I don't want to be, just doing one-off and then I've got to chase my tail to get another quote, to get another job, to do any of those things. It's a repeat business. And it's building the confidence of that client that they know that they can call on you.
Yes, absolutely. The confidence of the client. That is the key. And I think that something that we all forget when we're talking tradies is it is a service-based industry. All of this is service-based in that you need to be servicing your client. It's not just about getting the job done. It's about so much more than that. It's providing the service. It's ensuring that you leave the client feeling good about the job that you've just performed so that you do get those calls back.
I know it's little, and maybe it is this emotional quotient thing, what makes women different to men. I don't know. I don't really know. But my mum said you always need to do something little. There's got to be a little piece of love that you give back to your clients that they don't expect. And a simple thing would be you go past their letterbox and you see that it's full of stuff. So you grab it and you take it to the front door and go, look, here's your mail. But I just walked past it, but it was sticking out. Or, sorry, can I clean up? Can I clean up after myself? Yes, you can, the client would be saying in their head, but they might end up saying, no, it's fine. And that's when you say, no, look, I've made the mess. I'll clean it up for you.
Absolutely.
And if you want to clean it up after me, well, that's fine. But, take your boots off. Take your boots off at the front door.
Yeah. Wipe your feet.
Yeah, wipe your feet. You're not necessarily there to, if you go to have a cup of coffee with them or something, you don't charge that.
No.
If you're choosing to sit down and have a rest, sit down and have a rest. But don't be charging them, the half hour.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you want to have a chit chat.
There's simple little differences, though, aren't they, that do make a big difference?
Yeah, look neat and tidy. Sometimes I've got to explain that I've got to send a male tradie over to my clients, but that's what I do. I have to ring these women and give them the option to say, no, I don't want,
Which is great because sometimes they don't. I totally understand that. But if you give them the option, then they have the power.
Yes, exactly. And that's service. Hello, service industry.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like I said, I had no idea how to get a client and how to get a customer. Mm. And it's not as if I've got all this experience. There was no way when I finished school I was going to go into the retail business because I just couldn't do it.
Sure.
But it's fundamentally, good manners. We do our best. We're responsible. We're respectful. If we say we're coming and we make a commitment, we get there. And it's the little crappy things that matter. It's the little things like, oh my God, my battery drill has died and I don't have a backup. Well,
yes.
I don't have those screws on me. I forgot, and that's all good and fine when you've got a good relationship. But when you're trying to win a client, you want to make sure that you're pre-guessing all the things that you're going to need. Otherwise, you do the job that you have to, and you go, okay, I will be back because I forgot a tool. I forgot something.
Mm. And again, it's about being honest about those things instead of passing it off for something else.
Yeah, just fess up. I don't, like I rebuilt this lady's shower, but I don't have my waterproofing license. So I said, I'm going to refer you on to. Yes. And we do it all the time. We've got a mate, we've got a tradie, we know someone who we respect and we want to give them work too. Mm-hmm. So I go, here's 2 or 3 plumbers that I want you to call.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. But you know what? If I had a handy girl plumber, she'd be working all the time.
There's the call out, listeners.
Yeah. If there was a handy girl painter and a handy girl anything, really, I'd be like the line in there all the time.
Lady tradies, handy girl needs you.
So is that part of the plan, Kim? Like, because I'm standing here listening to this thinking, you've got 20 handy girls. You're in Ballarat. There's this whole country of Australia.
Yep. Handy girl.
Like, what's next for you?
Well, I didn't call it Handy Girl Australia, or I didn't call it Handy Girl Ballarat. I called it Handy Girl Australia because I reckon we need to have a handy girl in every town.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, we've got tiny little towns, You've got, I was going to say Indooroopilly, but Indooroopilly isn't that tiny, is it?
No.
But, you could have a Mount Omni handy girl, like a Queen Bee handy girl who's got some business now, so can organise and, organise a little handy girl team and set them off working. How fantastic is that?
It's bloody brilliant. That's what it is.
So we're working on the moment on, and look, I don't know if you're going to have Jim listening to this, right?
I don't think Jim listens to our podcast,
okay.
No.
Well, you never know, right? But I can remember I ran some corporate training for him and his team way back when I was a young sort of outdoor instructor. And they actually offered me a job. And I went, as if I want to work in the head office.
How the tide has turned.
Yeah, why should I do that when I'm going to have my own company? No, I didn't think like that. But I did say, well, actually, I think, can I be, in the business? Can I have my little truck and go do my little jobs? And back then they said no.
Silly.
Because I was a woman, right?
Yeah.
Really, they go, "Well, you're not a Jim, you're a Kim." I go, "Yeah, I am." So, and the answer was no, but I could go and work in the head office, and that really struck me as, well, how can that be?
Yeah.
But I thought, one day I will make something where women will have the same opportunities as you blokes. However, women are financially disadvantaged because women. I think women think about finances differently. We're not going to sacrifice the family home on a business idea. We're going to be very diligent about what we have and what we don't have, what we can afford, what we can't afford. We're going to put our families' needs above our own. And that's why we stay home and be mums and do all that mumsy thing while the breadwinner goes out. But when you're a single mum, or you've been divorced, or, other things happen, you choose not to be in a relationship maybe, you just don't have the finances to have a franchise license in something like those other businesses. So we've been really working hard to go, well, let's get a license, a really simple entry license for a woman who's got that business now, or that woman who just wants to be, whether it's a cleaner or a gardener or something else, and let's just let her hit the ground running. But we'll have the systems behind us.
Yes.
And so we're proving that. We've got our systems in place. Our licenses are almost ready to roll out, but we don't want to financially cripple. So, this could be one of those only business. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it could be one of those only businesses where you can lay by your business.
It's great.
Yeah.
There's a
you know what I
benefit
mean?
there for
And
everyone.
even for blokes. Well, even for blokes, how do you come up with your $200,000 to get into a franchise?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not. I mean, it's a huge risk.
It's massive risk.
But we've got some national clients and customers. We've got our local ones. So, you got to find these handy girls though. If you've got any leads out there for women who can drive business and work on tools and be supportive and get it, we'll train them up and let them loose.
It's fantastic.
There seems to be a bunch of them on Instagram these days.
Well, that's a good point.
Well, look, but how many handymen are out there doing the same thing?
Yeah.
But they're not growing. It's not as if they're growing their team. They're still the sole trader, which I was. I'm not bagging it out. It's just that I just had a bigger vision and just kept on working towards it.
Yeah. A lot of people, they, for whatever reason, they choose not to get into that business side of things because as we talk about on the podcast and as we hear from tradies in business everywhere around the country, it's, business is challenging, particularly if you're doing your own thing. And to be part of a group like Handy Girl Australia obviously would be a massive boon for anyone who wants to run their own enterprise, but perhaps reduce some of the risk and the headaches of all the other stuff that goes along with creating a new business as well. You've got to get a name for yourself and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, that would save women a heck of a lot of work in that regard. Kim, you mentioned some of the other trades. Obviously, you're only working in the Ballarat area at the moment. What's been the response from some of the other trades?
The tradie blokes, all the tradie blokes that I know. So I went back and I did my cert for construction management years ago. So the guys have been knowing, a lot of the tradies have been knowing me for a long time around this area, and they're more than happy to get work from me.
I bet they are.
But they're not threatened by us. We're not here to take work away from from the traditional tradie, and we need them and we love them just as much as our own staff. So but they have to meet. They really have to meet our model.
Which is fantastic. That's what you're known for. I get why that would be the expectation.
Yeah, because we're only, and this is a good lesson, but we're only as good as our last job.
So true.
So every job really matters, and every job I send out to a subcontractor really matters. And if they let us down, they're letting down themselves, and then I've got to try and cover and find somebody else to get that service done. So it goes both ways. I mean, I've got to look after them in the same way that subbies have got to look after us. We love learning. We're trying to run sort of in-house training sessions for the girls. So as I said yesterday, we were off doing waterproofing. We've got weatherboarding training session coming up soon. And, the handy girls love learning. That's not a bad thing.
No, it's brilliant.
So, Kim, sorry, just there's a bit of a lag, so I don't want to talk over the top of you. What's been some of or has there been any, moments or decisions or situations over the years with Handy Girl and the business side of things where, if you look back now, it's like, I wish I'd done that differently, or I wish I'd made a different decision there. Has there been any lessons like that?
There's a lot of decisions that I say no to. Like, it's really good to say yes. Oh, yes, we'll do that. Yes, we'll come. Yes, we'll. But I tell you what, some of those yeses, you wish it was a no when you get to the job, But because you've made a commitment to be there and do it and do the best, you just muck in. And so you get these days when you just come home and you go, we're absolutely knackered. It's taken 4 of us to go and do the job that I thought might have taken 2. And, but there's a real satisfaction when you overcome the physicality of a job or the challenge of a job, because you didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
And, but you can't, we just can't get out and quote anymore. Like quoting, I don't know how the blokes do it, but we find that incredibly hard and often incredibly unrewarding.
Very much.
If you don't get it, if you don't get that quote and you put in all this hard work and effort, it's tough.
It's
tough.
It's
really tough.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to charge for us to come out and do a quote, because what they're asking of us isn't really a quote at all.
Yes.
And you just go, well, look, I've just wasted 3 hours of my time that I'm never getting back, and my time's valuable. So here's my invoice. Thanks very much.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because you gotta. If we don't value what we do, who else is going to value it?
We've just recorded a podcast on that exact point. If you don't value yourself, who will value you? No one. They just won't.
Yeah. So I don't mind quoting and sending an invoice where I think it's appropriate for them to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And if we don't get the job, but at least we were paid for not wasting our time. But, sometimes it is.
Yes.
Sometimes it is just we're just checking the market. Well, we don't have time to be playing checking the market.
No.
Yep. So the other thing that I really wanted to ask him, you mentioned you've got 20 handy girls. How on earth do you manage and lead and monitor and supervise and motivate that many people?
Our HR, handyman, you're going to have an HR sort of strategy? Probably not. You just go, who's out there? Let's get them on the job. I need a fill-in. But for us, we're now getting women who are applying for jobs that don't even exist, and so we put them on a waiting list. But we really have to go through an interview process. Have they got police checks? What qualifications have you got? And we've got some pretty well-qualified women doing some pretty interesting jobs. Like I've got a retired principal who's a gardener. I've got nurses and teachers who are cleaners. I've got, chefs. I've got all sorts of people. And then I've got my builders, my gardeners, the horticulturalists. And so you're looking for a certain type of person.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a master unless we're looking for a tradie, who's got that special certificate or credential. But at the end of the day, you've got to be part of a team. Mm-hmm. You've got to have work ethic. There's lots of things that you don't have to have qualifications for to be a great worker.
Mm.
I've got some women who work for me who never really finished school, who hate reading and writing. But I tell you what, they're on time, they're organised, they do a ripper job, they're great at what they do. Mm. Why wouldn't you employ them?
Mm. There's a lot to be said for a good attitude.
Yeah, and we've got a really good app, so I know where the girls are going, they know where they're going, they know the clients, they can call me anytime, except when I'm doing things like this.
That's generally when my phone rings the most, is when I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah, but you've got to be able to be there to support them and have the right tools, but they've also got to look after, the tools. If the girls go, we broke the mower today, I'd be looking at them sideways going, and how did that happen? What were you doing?
Yeah. Yep. So Kim, what's your legacy? Like, what do you want to leave? Not just in business, but if you fast forward a bunch of years and look back on your endeavours, what legacy are you looking to leave?
Well, I'd like to think that we've got a business model that's supporting women in whether it's rural places, regional Australia, metro suburbs, but we've got a network of handy girls who are employed or managing their own business with our support, but they're employing other people. That they're employing other women or supporting their local economy, but they're helping people. So, I really do believe that we're going to have handy girls all over Australia. And if we can do Australia, well, we'll just go back to my little hometown in New Zealand and we'll just get Handy Girl New Zealand, or we'll get Handy Girl America, or, but for us, I've got women now who have got their first job, they've got their first super, they've got their first paychecks, they're paying off the mortgage, they're paying the kids' medical fees, the kids are going on camp, and their kids have got a handy girl as a mother who's proud to, be working. And yes, we will have apprentices one day, but I reckon all of the kids, we counted them up. We were laughing yesterday. Oh, well, we've got all these handy girls, and how many handy girl kids and grandkids have we got? And there's a lot.
But there
hell. Yep. I'm thinking the Christmas party this year is going to be, I don't know where we're going to have it.
Yeah.
But, you've got this whole generation of young children growing up with their mums who are putting on a uniform and going to work and doing some hard yards.
Yeah.
And so one of the girls goes, I think one of my daughters wants to be an electrician now. You go, oh, that's amazing.
It's awesome. It's a great legacy. It's a great thought. And it's through your direction that this will come to light. It's your passion. It's your direction. I can hear it in your voice. I can see it in the structure you've already created. I see big things ahead for Handy Girl.
I'm wondering when you actually sleep.
I'm open. Oh, no. I'm pretty good. You have to learn. It's because I'm over 50 now. I feel as if I'm the wise thing. I was around when they landed on the moon, all that kind of stuff. Whereas you two are not.
Oh, I don't know. We're not far behind you, Kim.
But, you go, I need to work. These are the times that I work. And then when it gets to like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, I'm not working.
Yes.
And on the weekends, no, I'm not working.
Yep.
We work really hard all week. And if I wanted to have a weekend service, no doubt about it, we probably could.
Yep.
But I'm employing mums, and all of my mums don't start work until after 9. And between 9 and 3, we've got 6 hours to just go gangbusters and work as hard as we can. Look after our clients and work as hard as I can. And that's our model.
Yep.
So I know that when my mums leaves the yard at 3:30 or 3:30 or 4 o'clock or whatever it is, their day's done.
Yep.
You know? They don't take the work home. Well, if we didn't finish, we talk to the clients. We'll go back another time and do it.
It's just setting those rules in place and sticking to them and not feeling like you need to change them to suit other people.
Correct.
Well, I'll be very surprised if we don't see handy girls all around Australia very soon. Just listening to you and it just as a business model, you know, I'm standing and thinking, holy crap, this is going to go wild. And I think, you know, in terms of timing the market, you know, you've certainly hit this at a point where there really is a rapid emergence of the lady tradie. You know, there's so many young girls out there entering the trades. There's, you know, Instagram celebrities that are tradies and ladies, and you know, it's awesome to see that it's you know, if you want to do it, you can. And I think it's awesome that you're also providing an opportunity and a pathway there for mums, for, you know, women that want to have a go at a business and don't want to get stuck with the traditional, you know, typing or whatever the hell it is that women are supposed to go
data
and do.
entry.
Data entry and bookkeeping, yeah, doing the hubby's books. It might be the other way around. We might have
that would make
handy
me so
girls
happy.
and the tradie hubby is at home doing the bookwork.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, you just never know. You blokes might fall in love with unpaid labour.
I love it.
I'm pretty handy on a mop.
Yeah, good, awesome. Hey, we've got a young fella who's just joined our team. He's doing because I'm an ex-teacher and stuff. He's doing his structured workplace learning with us, and you know, I've got a nephew. He's 6'7". He's a chippy.
Holy!
And every now and again he goes, oh, I'm coming up to Ballarat. You got any work? So I go, yeah, go on, Jackson. Go be my handy girl. And he puts on his uniform, and I send him out to do work. But one day he turns up at Mitre 10, got an account there, and he's standing at the counter. I mean, he's a unit and a half. He's like, you know, centre forward, ruckman, whatever, you know, giant, massive dude. And he's standing there. He goes, oh, can I get these things, and can you put it on Handy Girl's account? Well, I get this phone call from Mitre 10. Hey, there's this bloke here who's trying to get some materials out of it.
On your account?
You know? Yeah, my account. And I've gone, oh, for real? I said, is he tall? He goes, this guy has got to duck his head to get through the door. He goes, he's massive. And I said, oh, yeah, just ask him. Say, oh, are you Handy Girl Jackson? And say it really, really loud.
Oh, I love it.
And he's standing there going, yes, mate. Yes, I'm Handy Girl. You know?
No doubt he's got a big, deep voice too, being that tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Kim,
Thanks for what you had to say. I appreciate it. It keeps me going, you know.
No, it's great to have you on.
Yeah.
But before you go, you got to tell listeners where to find out more about Handy Girl Australia. What's the best place to go to?
Yeah, seriously, just Google it. Just put it in, because we've never paid a cent for all that SE, whatever stuff.
I love the ambivalence about
You've nailed
it.
Yeah. If you just type in Handy Girl Australia, we'll be number one.
You're everywhere.
Google for sure.
You are everywhere.
Yeah, so,
just look for the pink and purple.
Yeah, and that's just branding, guys. You know? That's
right.
just branding and hard work, and you know, get you up there.
There's no shortcut to success.
No shortcuts, unfortunately.
No, I wish there was, but there's not. You can make it a smoother ride.
Yeah, and only spend what you've got, you know.
Yeah,
don't get loans, don't do any of that. Just if you've got it, then you get it. If you've got no money, forget it.
Very true.
Save it.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast today, Kim. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. And, if I was a little bit more tech savvy, it might have run a little bit smoother,
it was perfect.
I really appreciate it.
No,
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I'll swing by and see you when I'm in Mount Omni next.
That'd be fantastic. We'd love to catch up. Our shout for a coffee.
Yeah.
There's probably a few
Sounds
jobs
like
we
a
could get you to
plan.
do while you're there.
I'm sure there's plenty.
A few squeaky
Bring it
hinges and
on,
loose
we'll-
windows. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get my little handy girls on the job up there.
Look, it's a typical builder's house. There's plenty to do. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, have a good one. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being
again,
here,
Kim.
Kim.
So there you go, Jim, if you're listening. You might have knocked back a good business partner there, mate.
I think you made a mistake, Jim.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that give it a year or two, and we'll see Handy Girl Australia as one of the next big brands around the country.
Well, that's massive structured growth in 4, 5 years? 4
Yeah.
years. 4 years.
In a smallish regional area.
Yes.
So if there's that
Bit blown
many
away, actually.
in a regional centre, imagine what that's going to do once it hits sort of some more, metro areas. But so keep an eye out for Handy Girl Australia. The website is handygirlaustralia.com.au, but it is pretty easy to find Kim and the team there. Got some pretty cool videos and stuff going on. And speaking of team and, being part of a community.
Oh,
Hey,
segue day.
there you go.
You're nailing this.
You should totally check out Tradies in Business on Facebook. Now, there's a couple of things you need to know about this group. First of all, it's free, so it doesn't cost you anything.
No moolah.
Second of all, you have to be a tradie in business to get in, or a tradie.
You got to be a tradie.
You don't have to have your own business
Or a tradie
yet.
partner.
Or you can be a tradie partner. Because we
Wife.
can't say husband or
No, we
wife
can't, but
or
I'll be-
spouse, because not everyone's married. But
I'll say spouse in any loose format that takes for you. But you could be a tradie mum who's helping out your tradie son.
yep, or you could be a tradie son who's
Helping
hating on
out your tradie mum.
So if you're a tradie, head on over to Facebook groups, look for Tradies in Business. We're the only one there. And 3 quick questions, prove that you're a legit tradie or tradie partner. And we'll let you in. And there's more than 1,000, I think we're up to 1,200 or something in the group now. Tradies in Business that are all pretty much networking, helping each other out, answering questions, asking questions, sharing stories. It's an epic group.
They're just all-round awesome people.
There's no trolls, there's no haters, there's no
No.
self-promoters, there's nobody selling shit in there. So head on over because it's pretty easy to get value for money out of that group.
It is. It really is.
And Coxie and I hang out in there occasionally, and we do post some free content in there. We also have some of our partners running free web classes and all sorts of stuff. So it's a really cool group, and we're just really passionate about teaching you how to be as good at business as you are at your trade. There you go. I've used it twice now. It's going to stick. So, yeah.
We've got so many catchphrases.
So if you want to learn how to run a better trade business, Tradies in Business is the place to do it. So thanks for tuning in today. If you're a lady tradie and you're handy,
Give us a shout.
Yeah.
We'll put you in touch
go
with
check
Kim.
out Kim. You might want to start off the first one in Townsville or something. Anyway.
Toowoomba.
I'll have a chat to the missus.
Yes.
She might want to
She's
quit her
very
career.
handy.
Well, she's tall.
She is tall.
She'd be good at putting on
She could-
roof
Oh,
sheets.
I was going to say maybe the
Gyp
light
rocking.
globes. I could use her at my house. We're both short asses.
I hope she doesn't listen to this episode. I'm going to be in so much trouble.
I think we both will.
I'm going to go now. Hooroo.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Tradies in Business podcast with Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.